Hello everyone. If you're new here, this is Emilee and I'm uploading my second Budget With Me video. The first thing I want to do is walk you guys through some of our expenses from the last week, and then I did get paid today, so I will budget that paycheck with you guys. I had to move a couple things around, so I'll just show you guys that real quick. Our rent payment came out on the 1st. So far this week, I've spent $21 on work lunches. That's a huge improvement for me. I generally spend $50 a week, sometimes a little more than that. I've decided I want to transfer this money onto, I have a Venmo card. It functions basically like a account connected to a debit card that I'll be able to use. I'm going to transfer my work lunch money onto there as well as my personal spending money. And if I go over work lunch money, then it'll come from personal spending. So this number will never be more than $50 a week any longer. We also spent $73 on cleaning and home supplies from Scentsy because they just came out with their fall collection and I have no self-control. Fuel and auto maintenance, I spent $44 filling up our car. And Trent was talking with some of his buddies, and they decided to go halvesies into something, I don't even know what. And Trent wanted to know if he could have his entire month allotment of spending money instead of just we usually do $80 every 2 weeks. And so I went ahead and moved a couple things around in order to accommodate that. I think mainly I took it from some of these living expenses that I had pre-funded. This doesn't hinder our month progress because this 160 would have come out this month regardless, so I was totally okay with moving stuff around for that. A couple of other changes I made. In editing my last video, wanted to move around a couple of my categories, and so I did move random acts of kindness, gifts, and fees and fines into our living expenses category. I also added a medical expenses line item. Actually, I believe I had this line item, but I had put it under a different category. I'm not remembering where I had it now, but I'm pretty sure that's a change. And then I added this medical out-of-pocket max. I saw, I think Gen Z had an out-of-pocket max line in her budget, and I decided it would probably be wise, especially being pregnant and expecting a baby due in February, to have some money saved up here in addition to saving for our hospital bills and in addition to having this medical expenses line item that I do use as a sinking fund. It might seem like overkill, and generally our family, knock on wood, is very healthy, and so I'm hoping that it is overkill, but I would rather have some money set aside in the event that something happens than not. The only other change sucks. I don't want to talk about it, but I mentioned in my last video that I thought our internet bill would be around $300, which is almost double of the base price. The base price is $182. We got our internet bill and it came out to $579. And we called them to see if they could work with us. They haven't said that they would be able to work with us so far in our communication with them on reducing this. It's dumb because our internet provider just switched over to a new system of buying gigs from them. And so instead of $182 a month for 100 gigs of service, we're getting 300 gigs of service for that same price, the 182. And then if we do go over or we want to buy additional data, we can buy 10% of the 300, so 30 extra gigs for $10 additional dollars. So the cost of overages starting September 1st is going to be much lower than what we are experiencing. Currently, we're paying $12 for every gig of overage, and so that's what you're seeing reflected in this $579. But they switched it on September 1st, and so we're trying to bug them and ask if there's anything they can do because $579 is just outrageous, and we were 30 gigs over what our allotment was. So it just seems extreme to me. But regardless of what happens with that, we're going to put that amount aside for that payment and hope that we can get it lowered. Going forward, I believe we would be able to keep our usage under the 300 gigs. So I'm really hoping that we're not going to experience something like this again going forward. One last thing I wanted to point out, because I'm really proud of us. I had budgeted $60 for dining out I think last Sunday, and we did not eat out at all this week. We're going into the weekend. That's usually the time when we cave. So I am hoping we stick to our guns and planning on sticking to our guns and just continuing to eat at home. And hopefully I'll have this same $60 sitting here next time we get paid. Oh, I did want to mention Trent's side gig has not paid him yet. Last we were told he is waiting for the stores to pay him. Once he gets that, he'll go ahead and pay the people who work for him. We think we'll get this check on the 15th. Now that all that is taken care of, I'll go ahead and jump in to our bank account and enter my income. So this is my paycheck. I got paid $2,243. Enter, clear. And I did reconcile everything prior to jumping on with you guys, so our account balance is correct. And we get paid again on September 11th. I like to note that because I make sure everything that's due before the 11th or on the 11th is covered. I won't have to worry about that as much going forward because we are trying to get a month ahead right now. And once we're a month ahead, those dates just won't matter. The only thing we have scheduled before the 11th is this term life insurance, which is already funded. So I'm going to skip down here to living expenses. This contains our Amazon subscribe and save, as I mentioned in my last video, and those come out on the 8th of every month. So I want to make sure that this is covered first, and then we'll work back into these bills if we have money left over or with our next paycheck. So I'll go ahead and fund the subscribe and save. I'm going to uncheck groceries for just a moment and gifts and go ahead and fund the rest of those categories. The reason I unchecked groceries is because we pay $300 a week and I don't want to fund the whole month at this time because I want to be able to spread this paycheck out a little bit more. So I'm going to fund the $600 that covers the next 2 weeks. And then I'm going to look at our upcoming transactions because I do have some subscribe and save items that will be coming out, and I'm going to add those up real quick and see how much extra I want to budget into this category. Okay, so I went ahead and added those up off screen. I included this coffee order because we are running dangerously low and I want to get that ordered as soon as I can. The total came to $129.31. So I'm going to add right here $129.31. And then I would like to fully fund this medical out-of-pocket max for the month. I'm going to be putting $100 every month into this category. So we'll underfund that. I did want to mention last time I was on with you guys, I think I only had $1,000 in this Chase checking account. I went ahead and transferred an additional $800 in there, and that $800 consisted of most of my sinking funds. So it was the $1,300 in this unexpected expenses category, which is my emergency funds, plus my Christmas fund, plus my technology replacement fund. The reason I did that is for the first time last month, we got a banking fee for that account of $12, which isn't much, but it was unnecessary considering the criteria for waiving that fee is to have a minimum daily balance of $1,500 in this account. I think I mentioned in my last video briefly, the only reason that we are banking with Wells Fargo at this time is that that's the only bank available in the town that we live. Prior to that, we were with Chase, and that's who our credit cards are through, is Chase. So I don't want to get rid of this account. It makes it really easy to pay for these credit cards out of, but I did want to avoid that fee going forward. So I'm going to go ahead and store as much money as I can in that account. If that wasn't the case, I feel that simplicity is better, and so I would probably just hold all of our money in one account, but it's a necessary evil to have two accounts in our current living situation. Okay, we have $411 left. I'm going to go ahead and fund these credit cards. I'm going to go down to gifts. The only gifts that we have this month are near the mid to end of month. So I'm going to go ahead and just fund this one gift for now, and then we'll get to the others with our next paycheck. And then with our remaining 240, I will fund the next couple of bills that we have coming. And that last $80, I'm going to stick in this huge internet category so that we can start getting that $500 funded. Okay, I think that about covers it. I will go ahead and jump on with you guys once again when we get paid. I know for sure that we will be getting paid on the 11th. If we get paid anything prior to that, I will go ahead and jump on and budget it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.